Good morning and welcome to my Monday messages. Welcome to another week. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Rebecca. I'm a homeopath. I'm a holistic life coach and natural health advocate. And my Monday messages are just part of my commitment to sharing anything that I think might be useful for all of us in the coming week to help us to become more conscious of the things that work for us and the things that may be keeping us a little bit stuck or feeling a little bit discombobulated, if you like, not integrated. So welcome to today's message. I know that in England you're still having a lot of intense heat, and if you're watching from anywhere else you might be as well. Where I am in Kerry, it is rainy and quite cool today, but actually the gardens I think are very grateful for that. So if you are watching live, then you're very welcome, and do just pop into the comments just a thumbs up or some kind of sign that you're there. That would be lovely. And if you're watching on the replay, the same thing. You can ask questions. It's never too late, and I will get back to you. I always welcome your comments. So today I wanted to talk about the whole kind of right-left brain thing. And there have been several messages, if you like, coming to me from various different sources over the last few days to put this at the forefront of my mind, my brain. And it sort of culminated in, I was sent a couple of those emails over the weekend that invited me to take part in a quiz to help me identify whether I was a right-brained or left-brained person. And that got me thinking about, okay, why do I have to choose? And that's what set this train of thought in motion, really. That, along with the realization that my own journey was still a little bit knee-jerk in situations, and that I'm still carrying residue, if you like, of a time when I was very firmly choosing what most people would attribute to my left hemisphere of my brain, my more masculine side. And that, in some situations, meant that I was prioritizing that over my more right-brained responses, my more feminine responses. And in one particular situation, it was very clear that it wasn't serving me well. It wasn't really helping me to get where I ultimately wanted to be. And this is in a very particular, very, very special relationship that I have in my life. One of several, but I noticed that actually this wasn't peculiar to this person. It was a pattern of mine. And when I started to look at it and think about my years of being stuck in the more masculine side of my responses, then I recognized it, basically. So what am I banging on about? Well, basically in the 1960s, the early neuroscientists identified that our brain is very roughly divided into two hemispheres, left and right, and that if they were regarding how we think and how we process information, how we deliver information, that the left side was more predominantly about logic and linear thinking, numbers, sequencing, being very analytical and digital, if you like. And that conversely, the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. So there's a diagonal. And those attributes were put forward as being the more kind of masculine traits. And then conversely, the right side of our brains, the more the list of attributes for that side is commonly attributed to the more feminine side. So more feelings, being able to express emotion, being able to deliver emotion, being able to read emotion. So empathy, visualization, facial recognition, holistic thinking and holistic behavior. So when I say that, I mean being able to take in the whole of something rather than just one bit of it. Lots of other attributes for both, but broadly speaking, those were the kind of main attributes. So it was postulated that the left side was your male side and the right side was your female side, and that you were born with one or other of those sides being the dominant side. Hence, we get males and females. So these quizzes are still kind of in that vein, but actually they haven't really caught up because actually neuroscience has moved on a good deal since those days, and it's now understood quite logically, it seems to me, that we actually need both, and that both exist in all of us, and that no matter what our sexual bias, if you like, or sexual choices, we need both things in order to be whole, in order to be really integrated. And it's only when both sides are harnessed, are used, that we are fully healthy. And the middle part of our brain, which is a little connection point called the corpus callosum, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but there you go. You don't need to know that. But that is a kind of thoroughfare where information from both sides crosses over and forms a whole, basically. And I don't like the inference in those quizzes as well that we have to choose one over the other, that one side is more important than the other, or that that we do have to, that we have to choose, because we don't. It's the same as everything. It comes down to what is the most appropriate set of responses in any given situation. And when I think about the more masculine side of me, the side that I was really stuck in, first of all, that was a choice. It was a subconscious choice, but it was a choice. And once I actually became conscious of it, then I could change it, and I have changed it predominantly. And I really value those attributes. I really value the ability to problem solve and to be very logical and practical and find solutions. And it's really helpful in my everyday life. What's not so helpful is what happened to me several years ago, was to get stuck in only that, and to ignore the whole of the right side of my brain, if you like. That's not the case now, and I am much more integrated and I feel much more whole. That's not to say that there are still things that can tip me into a kind of knee-jerk response, a knee-jerk reaction that means that I sometimes will overvalue the more masculine traits in me. And that means, for me, that I forget or I just skip over the more emotional responses sometimes. And in relationships, that isn't always serving me well. And that's something that I was reminded of in the last few days, and I'm really grateful for that. Because it's not something that ultimately helps me to get close to people. And I'm not saying that, again, that I need to choose one over the other, because they're both needed in very many circumstances. But what another new friend of mine has said, and I have her words in my head, is whenever you can, give a hug first. And that I found very, very helpful in reshuffling my knee-jerk reaction, if you like, of if there's a problem, if somebody's in trouble, if somebody needs help, that I don't first go into, right, how can we fix this? Let's do X, Y, and Z. And I forget that actually what somebody really needs is a hug or some words of tenderness or softness. So I'm working on bringing my female attributes in, and then going into my masculine, or the other way around, depending on the situation. But both are needed in order to understand a situation fully and to respond to it appropriately and in a human way. So what I wanted to do this week was to encourage all of us to just start noticing when we are under a bit of pressure, when we have some kind of conflict, when we have a problem that needs solving, or that somebody needs our help in some way, whether that's parenting, whether that's work, everyday life, we all have it all the time. Just starting to notice whether you individually feel that you're going into your more left-brained skills or your right-brained skills, or whether you feel, actually, it's great, I do a bit of both. It depends on the situation. I don't want any judgment to be attached to that noticing, because one side isn't more important than the other. We need both. And it's only when we're going into old patterns, old survival strategies, old habits, because they worked for us in the past. And when we become conscious of those, it is an opportunity to review and to ask ourselves, okay, that's interesting. So why is that? And is that working for me? Does that help me to get closer to somebody? Does it help me in that particular situation in the long run? Does it help me in the short run? How does it work for me? And then if you feel that it actually isn't working for you, then you can change it. It's not something that you have to do a quiz and go, ooh, I'm a right-brained person. That means I can't change that. That's just the way I am. It's not true. Everything is down to becoming conscious of it, bringing it into the light, if you like, and just reviewing it. And if it isn't working terribly well for you now, then tweaking it, recalibrating it, just introducing the idea that actually you can do it a bit differently if it doesn't work. So that is pretty much what I wanted to give you as a message today. I would love it if that resonates with you and you think, yeah, I actually am predominantly tipping into my left brain rather than my right brain, or the other way around, or you're happy and you think, yeah, no, it's a bit of both, it's fine. Do let me know in the comments below. And if you do come to the conclusion that you would like to change the way that you're kind of automatically dealing with situations, and you'd like some support, then obviously that's what I'm here for. That's the work that I do, either with homeopathic remedies or with QTT, behavioural coaching, or other natural therapies. So I hope that makes sense. Just one last thing, in case you're not quite understanding what I'm getting at. If you have a partner who is male, whether that's a husband or partner, whatever, or somebody who is very male, very masculine, very left-brained, and you have had a pretty challenging day at work, and you come back from work and you just want to say, God, that was really hard. That was really hard. This happened, that happened. I'm exhausted. And your partner starts offering you practical advice and things that you could have done differently in order not to feel how you're feeling. How does that make you feel? Because for me, what it leaves me with is a feeling of, oh, I didn't really want advice. I didn't really want practical suggestions, because I pretty much know all of that. What I actually wanted was somebody to be a witness to how I'm feeling, and just to say, I can hear you, I can see you. Yeah, that must be awful, poor you, and give me a hug, whether that's a literal hug or a verbal hug. And that's what I'm talking about, the difference between responding in a way that says, I've just heard what you say and I'm here for you, and somebody who is tipped into, okay, how can I fix this? How can I make it better? And I'm not judging either, because both have merit and both are valuable. But just in that partnership situation, it is nice sometimes to just go, do you know what? I didn't want any advice. I didn't want any practicalities. I just wanted you to give me a hug and say, you're fine. So that's what I'm talking about. And often in relationships, that can build up kind of a feeling of not being heard and of not being connected, of not being close to somebody, when that's happening constantly. Yeah, I could go on, but I'm not going to, because I've been on too long. So let me know what you think, and do pop any findings that you notice in the comments below, or you can always have a chat with me by booking a free clarity call with me, and I'll put that link in the comments below. I just realised I've forgotten to put it in. So have a lovely week, and just enjoy noticing whether in any situation you're in your left side or your right side, or whether you feel that you're actually encompassing both in a beautiful whole, because that's ultimately the definition of health, is to have both things working in a beautiful collaboration. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves. Bye.